Hello everyone, welcome back to Z Computer Lessons. Everyone is having an amazing and fantastic time. Today I have some really interesting material for you. We are going to be looking at CS21, or should I say Computer Studies 2021. This is the paper that the internal candidates wrote, and I'm going to be sharing with you. We are going to go through all the questions in this paper, and I'm going to provide the answers for each and every question. I have made a promise to you that in this video it's going to be less than an hour.
I respectfully disagree.
As opposed to how I usually make these videos, I want to make this video as short as possible. So without wasting any much of your valuable time, let us begin. Before we begin, I want us to look at the instructions, because the instructions are very important. This is just going to be less than 1 minute, I promise. So let us go through the instructions. This paper is obviously 1 hour 45 minutes, as you can see here, and it carries 70 marks, which means the other 30 marks are for the practical part. When you're writing the examination, you must follow these instructions 1 up to 4, and cell phones are not allowed, obviously. But most importantly, you should look at the questions that in this paper there are 3 sections, section A, B, and C, and you should answer all the questions in these 3 sections. Okay, so these are the things that I wanted to point out. Lastly, in section A, the section that we're going to start with, it will have multiple choice answers, so which will be A to D. So we are going to select the multiple choice that is appropriate for us. If the answer is, for example, in question 1 A, we're going to mark it as A. If it's B, and so on and so forth. So that's it. So let us jump right into section A. So this is section A. I want to clarify something before I begin. I didn't find this paper wherever I get these papers from my sources. So I had to type the entire document in Microsoft Word. So if you notice this document or this video looks a bit different, it's because I typed it myself. This is not captured with a camera. That's why it's looking very standard and it's looking very professional, because I typed it myself. It's not looking bent, blurred or something. So that's what I wanted to clarify before we begin. So let us start by understanding the questions. The question says, or the instructions rather, they say answer all questions, mark your answer with a cross on the answer grid provided in the answer booklet. But since we are not answering the exam, let us just begin by answering the questions. Section A, question 1 says an example of an output device is dash. So is it a mouse click, mouse pad, touchpad, or touch screen? The answer is touch screen. A touch screen is a device that can be used for both input and output. And since the question is talking about output, it also qualifies to be called an output device. So let us move on. Question 2. What mathematical operation is performed when a / is placed between 2 numeric values in a spreadsheet? So in a spreadsheet, the mathematical operation that is performed when we place a / between 2 numeric values is called division. Okay, let me show you in Excel real quick. Let me open Microsoft Excel by searching for it. Microsoft Excel, this is Excel 2016, and I will demonstrate to you that the / is the operation or mathematical operation. When we place it between 2 numeric values, it gives us the quotient or the answer from a division operation. So let's say we have 2 cells. In this cell we have the number 2, and in this adjacent cell we have, let's say, the number 4. Not so. So let's say we want to divide this value by this value in B2. So this is what we do. Let's say we want our answer to be here. So this is what we do. We press the equal to sign, then we type the cell that we want to divide the number into. So this is cell C2, and we want to divide the content of C2 by B2. So this is what we are talking about in the question. We have to press the forward slash. So this is the forward slash. As you can see, this is a forward slash. So when you add this forward slash between the next number that I'm going to add, we're going to obtain a division operation, or the quotient. So we want to divide C2 by B2. So now we click on B2 and press enter. As you can see, when we divide 4 by 2, the answer is surely 2. So as you can see, the forward slash is used when placed between two numeric values in a spreadsheet. It gives us the quotient. As simple as that. Let us move on. Question 3. Which of the following is an optical storage medium? An optical storage medium. So an optical storage medium, what's an optical storage medium? An optical storage medium is a type of digital storage that uses light from a laser to read and write data on a spinning disk. So we use light properties to enter data on a spinning disk. So let's just read the notes below. Optical disks encode data in tiny indentations on the surface of a disk, called pits and lands. When a laser is shown on the disk, a pit does not reflect the light, and so it represents a 0, while a land reflects the light and represents 1. So what they're essentially saying here is optical storage medium are mediums that store data using light properties. So the laser makes holes on that material, and when a laser is shown on that material, when it reflects light, that means that it is a 1. When it doesn't, it represents a 0. So therefore, we can store data using 1s and 0, obviously. So the answer here is the compact disk. So the compact disk, whenever you see disk, we're talking about a storage medium that is using light to store data. So the answer here is compact disk. Let us move on. Question 4. A gigabyte is equivalent to what? So a gigabyte is equivalent to exactly 1024 megabytes. So a gigabyte is equivalent to 1024 megabytes. So whenever you have 1024 megabytes, that becomes automatically a gigabyte. So let us move on. Which action is performed when the following keyboard keys are pressed together? So these are the keyboard keys. When we press these keyboard keys, the control and the V. So this is how we abbreviate the what is the keyboard key control. So when we press the keyboard key control and V, what happens or what action is performed? In order for me to show you, let me open Microsoft Word. Or let's just use our Excel program. This is not just bound to Microsoft Word. Even Excel does this. So let's say I want to copy these two. So I press the keyboard shortcut Control C, and I want to paste it somewhere. By paste, I mean take it somewhere on a different location. So let's say I want to take what I copied here, which is the number 2. I want it to be pasted here. So what shortcut should I press? The shortcut is Control V. As you can see, the number has been pasted. So the correct answer here is paste. So when we press Control and V on the keyboard, the action that is performed is pasting. So we have pasted. So that's the answer. Let us go to question 6. How are files? Sorry, let me just repeat what I said. How are files transferred from the computer to the internet? This is by uploading. So the correct answer here is uploading. Downloading is taking files from the internet and to your device, such as your mobile phone or laptop, etc. So let us go to question 9 or 7. Let us go to question 7. Which of the following health problems is linked to prolonged use of computers? So when you use computers for a long time, which health problem are you at risk of having? So we have options here. So the correct answer here is wrist pain. All these are not answers related to prolonged use of computers. The correct answer is wrist pain. The reason for this is because when you're typing, you're using your hands, and your they start to pain because you're doing it repeatedly. So you might end up having wrist pains. So let's go to question 8. A dash is an electronic document or file stored on a computer. We have these options, but since I'm on a time limit here, I'm just going to go direct to the answer. So the correct answer is soft copy. And why is this the correct answer? Because soft copy is data that is in a form that a computer can store or display it on the computer screen. So whatever document is on the computer that can be displayed, that's called soft copy. So the answer is soft copy. Soft copy is an electronic document or file stored on a computer. Let us move on to question 9. A group of characters that identify a specific user of a computer system is known as dash. So a group of characters simply mean symbols such as forward slash, asterisk, and all that stuff. Commas, forward slashes, and so on. I've already mentioned this forward slash. So it can also consist of numbers and letters. So the correct answer is password, because a password can contain symbols and numbers and letters and all that stuff. But a passcode only contains numbers, so it's not the answer. A user account doesn't make sense. Username only contains letters. I haven't seen a person who has a number on their name. So therefore the answer is password. So the password is a group of characters used to identify user of a computer system on a computer. So let us go to question 10. Question 10 says convert 4096 bytes to kilobytes. So I've already done this. When you want to convert, here is a trick. I've already converted this on a rough piece of paper. Here is a trick. When you are converting a big unit, such as let's say we have 2 units. Let's say we have a byte and a kilobyte. We all know that a kilobyte is bigger than a byte. So let's say we are trying to convert this number which is given in bytes, this 4096, we are trying to convert it into a kilobyte. A kilobyte is a big unit, not so. So when you're converting a small unit to a bigger unit, we have to divide that unit by 1024. When you're converting a big unit to a small unit, let's say kilobyte to byte, we have to multiply that unit by 1024. So since we are converting this small unit 4096 bytes to kilobytes, we're converting the small unit, the bytes, to a big unit, kilobyte. We need to divide this number by 1024. So when you do that, my friends, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have the answer, which is 4 kilobytes. So 4096 bytes in kilobytes is 4 kilobytes, which is C. So correct answer on question 10 is C. Let us go on to question 11. What feature do the letters I and M represent in the term WIMP? Okay, what do those letters represent? So let me tell you what these letters represent. The W stands for Windows, I stands for icons, M stands for menus, and P stands for I don't know, I've forgotten. P stands for what? Okay, you get the point, not so. I don't know if it stands for pointer or something like that, but yeah, I can remember W, Windows, icons, and menus. So since we're talking about I and M, it's talking about icons and menus. So we're talking about a graphical user interface here. What this means is that when you are using a graphical user interface, an interface where you are able to interact with the computer using pictures such as these I'm showing you here. So all these are pictures, you are able to see them with your eyes, not so. So we are interacting with this computer using the I stands for icons. These little images you're seeing here, these are icons. And this M, for example, when I right click here, have you seen this? It brings a menu. So that M stands for menu. So that stands for icons and menus. So that's the correct answer. The correct answer is A. Let us move on to question 12. Which of the following controls the processes in a washing machine? So the correct answer here is a microchip. A microchip processes and controls the flow of data and instructions inside a computer. They interact with other parts of the computer to produce output. So the correct answer here is a microchip. So let us go to question 13. The loss of human skills and the acquired knowledge to a computer system is known as dash. What do we call that? The correct answer is descaling. What is descaling? Descaling is the loss of skills that an employee or group of employees had once. So let's say you have a skill. Not so. You type documents. Then a person somewhere develops a software that is able to type, because we are in the age of artificial intelligence. Nowadays, a computer can type better than a human being. So imagine you work at an organization, let's say a pressing company where you create books, not so. So now they introduce this software that has been developed, which means that you are no longer going to be typing. And that skill that you have of typing, you will lose it because of the knowledge that you're not using. Computers have been introduced, so you end up losing that skill. So that's what we call descaling. Okay, this can happen through lack of use of what is certain skills caused by change of employment, new working conditions, or introduction to technology, and so on and so forth. Let us go to question 14. Question 14. Which of the following application software uses the extension docs on saved files? So as you know, there's a past paper I covered recently. You can check them out. I explained why we use file extensions, and they are used to identify different files on the computer system. So which application has that extension at the last? So I've added some notes. All files have an extension. So an extension is identified by a period followed by a code of a few characters that identify what type of file they are. So let me go on the desktop and just open a file. Let's say this file. I right click and go on info, and that's going to show me the extension. Let's go on properties. Hopefully it's going to show me an extension. Have you seen this? It's shown an extension .pdf. So this is the extension we're talking about here, .pdf. So this is an extension for documents. So when I open a different file, let's say this Adobe InDesign, I right click and I go where it says properties. It's going to show me a different extension. As you can see, where can I see it? Let's see on the details. On general, let's see general. As you can see, it has an extension of .link, because this is a link. And different files have different extensions, obviously, and the like. I think you get the point. So let us go back to our document. So these are some common extensions. So as you can see, to your left we have the extensions. Then in the middle section here we have the type of file. Okay, and to the right we have the software that can be used to open that file. So if you see at the end of a file there is .txt, which means it's a text only file, and an application that can be used to open that text only file is Notepad. And we have here .docs, which was been given in the question, and we can see that this is a document processing file, and a software that can be used to open it is Microsoft Word, and as you can see the like, and the list goes on and on and on and on. If you want, you can Google more of them. There are hundreds of them. You can find different types of files on a computer, obviously. So we are interested in this one, the .docs file here, this one here. This is the file that we are interested in. So as you can see, the answer here is a Microsoft Word. So the application software that uses an extension docs on saved files is Microsoft Word. So question 14, the answer is D. Let us move on to question 15. The figure below shows part of a spreadsheet used to keep marks obtained by students in a test. So this is a part of a spreadsheet. As you can see, this is column A, column B, column C, row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. So let us look at the questions. The question reads as follows. Which of the following function can be used to count the number of students using column B? So which function can be used to find the number of students using this column B? So I have created a copy of this spreadsheet. I created it. Let me just open it. Let's say files. Where is it? Open recent files. I think it's this one. I recreated this spreadsheet. Let us just give it a moment. So it's in here. So this is what we are talking about in column B. What function can we use, or formula rather, what formula can we use to calculate the number of students using column B? So using this column B. So as you can see, I found that there are 3, and this is the function equal to sign count A open brackets B2 to B4 close brackets. So this is the function, and if you look at this function I used to obtain this answer, you'll find that it's the exact function here. So the correct answer here is B. So the correct answer here is B. Equal to sign count and A B2 to B4. So that's the correct answer. This is not the correct answer, because if we use this formula or this function, this function is only used to count numbers. So this function can only be used to count this column C. But since these are not numbers, they are letters, this function won't work. This is why we are using this function B. It's the count function with the letter A. That's as simple as it gets. Let us go on to question 16. A network between organizations that allow external users to have limited access to the network or the resources is called what? So the type of network that is called the intranet. If you want, you can check out the 2022 video. I'll share a link somewhere. I talked about the intranet. So it's just a private network used by organizations. So that's the answer. The answer is a B. Let us go to question 17. Which of the following is not a web browser? So which of the following is not a web browser? So Chrome is a web browser. Google is not a web browser. Internet Explorer is a web browser. Mozilla Firefox is a web browser. So the correct answer here is a B. The reason why Google is not a web browser is because Google is only used to find information, organize information that you search for on the internet. It doesn't collect, to only assist you in finding the information. So the answer is B. Google is a search engine and not a web browser. So let us go to question 18. In a spreadsheet, AB and BZ are examples of what? So in a spreadsheet, these are examples of column labels. As you can see, when I open Microsoft Excel, as you can see, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, and this list goes on and on and on. And this, because the letters in the alphabet are a finite collection of letters, not so. They end at Z, which means when we end at Z, something needs to be added, not so. So let's say we end at Z in the alphabet. We are going to start now A1, A2, A3, A4, something like that, or AA, AB, AC, AD, and so on and so forth. So these are column labels. As you can see, as you go from left to right, eventually these letters will start to the names will change. They will start to be AA, AB, A whatever, and so on and so forth. So these are column labels. Let us go to question 19. The process of preparing a magnetic disc to be used for the first time is called what? What do we call that process? So that process is called formatting. What is formatting? Formatting is dividing a disc into marked segments so that it may store data. So that's formatting. If you want, you can Google and Google. Let us go to the final part of question section A, question 20. The resource of a private network can be protected from outside users using a dash. So what can we use to protect the resources of a private network? The correct answer is a firewall. So a firewall is a system consisting of a combination of hardware and software that limits the exposure of a computer or computer network to attack from crackers. Commonly used on local area networks that are connected to the internet. So that's what we can use to protect the resources of a private network. Therefore, we end this part, and I hope you have understood, even though I was rushing because I want this video to be a small video as possible. The duration I want it to be limited. So therefore, let us go right into section